All right, y'all, I hear a lot of talk about how it's unsafe to leave 6 rounds in an old Colt, this being a double action, not the single action army, but it'll serve the same purpose for me to explain, and as a matter of fact, it's a little worse than the single action army with how it works. In the hammer position now, we're all the way forward, the firing pin's all the way forward, this is the fired state. If you had a live cartridge with the firing pin resting on it right now, and this bounced or took a whack, yeah, you're gonna have a bad day, so you would never carry in this position. Instead, you would rebound it once. Click, first click. In this position, the firing pin is retracted, and in most European revolvers or really other designs of the time, you'd be able to rotate the cylinder and start loading and unloading. It would also be a safety position, but it's not true on this gun necessarily. Instead, we actually have to go back to half cock on this Colt, at which point the cylinder is now free to rotate. This would be true of the single action army, it's true of this gun today. So you would load up your cartridges, these are of course dummies, and then you would need to prep this gun for carry because you don't want to carry in the half cock position necessarily. There's still some room for it to fall. It's still exposed out into the open. It's not unsafe. And on a single action army, it would be the safety position because if you pulled the trigger, nothing would happen. It would be lipped over by that sear surface. In this case, this is a double action, so actually, even from that safety position, it will try to go bang. Instead, if you were in your half cock and you loaded this gun up, probably the best thing you could do for it would be to ease it into the rebounded state right there. Now, your cylinder's not going to rotate, and you are not going to have that firing pin reach your primer, and if the gun takes a whack and it snaps off the sear tab or the sear surface off the trigger, well, at least it's not going to fall very far and it's less likely to set the gun off. And this right here, either the half cock position or the rebounded position, either one, is really where the bad rap fell on the Colts, like the single action army and this one, in terms of having to carry with one chamber empty. Because if the gun took a terrible fall and struck the hammer just right, and the metallurgy wasn't perfect inside, yes, you could deform or crack, and therefore slip that hammer right on over past these notches and boom goes the dynamite. That is true of basically every revolver of the time. There are some exceptions, but not so much that we care for the purposes of the rumors. It's just that apparently the Colts really got stuck with this as people were trying to express the fears of what they had seen. Maybe it's because Americans carried them more or used them more, I'm not sure, but Colt got stuck with this fear of leaving an empty chamber. And yet, the crack-off is perfectly capable of happening in any revolver, and especially some of the cheaper European ones, it's almost more likely.